Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently, what we think is likely to happen next, and all that wonderful stuff. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you're missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and it's the first place that we go to notify you of everything that's going on in the crypto space. So why not go ahead and check it out? And let's jump right down into this video for Bitcoin then. So we're going to start here just by reviewing the thumbnails and kind of the content of the previous videos, see if we're on track or if there's anything that's kind of deviated away from our original thoughts. Ultimately, we are still looking for a move to the downside after we pushed up towards the 30k level. That hasn't changed. It's a big ranging market if you're ready to zoom out, and you can take a look at that. From yesterday, we were talking about a bearish setup. We did see us come into our shorting range. That actually happened here. We did move down pretty nicely. We moved back up, and I'm still inside a short because I do think that we still have that momentum and that movement to the downside. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So not a lot has really changed here. We saw the move from these low ranges of 27 up to the areas of 29 as expected, and now we're just looking for that move to the downside. Still ultimately expecting the 25k range. That hasn't changed. Again, just you're seeing things move up as we move on down. You cannot move straight down. You have to have these relief rallies in places. So with all that said, let's jump down into the first chart to talk about, which is our Elliott wave theory chart. Okay, so our Elliott wave theory is still very much valid. We did push back up into our area of expectations. Again, nothing terribly too unusual. So to kind of summarize this from yesterday, we had our typical wave 2 area for retracement. This is between 50 and 88.2% retracement of that 5-wave move to the downside. This is between 28,795 and 29,686. We then scoped out a C wave structure inside, which gives us this little range just here. We tapped into it very briefly yesterday at about 11 a.m. This range is 29,345 to 29,644, and we're basically pushed right up into here, finding the upper area of resistance where the demand for selling is, or where the supply is, and we can see price pushing back down. So nothing terribly too unusual. It does look like we have now completed this C-wave structure. I guess there's one more possibility of a slight push up higher if it absolutely needed to. But for the most part, I'm now looking at this as pretty much complete, but we'll see if it does push up again. You know, we'll read into that as that time does come. Could be a WXY/XZ. Ultimately, that's probably the only other scenario that I can see unfolding here, with A, B, and C converting to WXY, down X, and then Z. This being the X, and then up here being the Z wave. So ultimately, everything's looking pretty good. As long as we stay below 29,969, we are still very much valid for this structure to the downside. Okay, 5 waves over here is either going to be the beginning of a structure or the end of a structure. I believe it's the beginning, and therefore we can kind of take that into consideration. We do have the 5 wave over here. We have a 5 wave over here, for example, and so 30,036 is the high of this point. We come back, we also have another 5 wave over here. This is 30,485, and so therefore we can see nesting occurring within these ranges, which gives me ground to think that we have got significant selling pressure to occur that's going to take this down as we start to see these formations of waves starting to structure out in a bearish pattern. So ultimately, everything on our Elliott wave theory is kind of following along with our expectations. Nothing terribly too unusual to kind of report there. Smart money concepts. So smart money concepts showed us with this fair value gap over here getting filled out as we pushed on up. This is what kind of drove us to that $29,000 level, along with our Elliott wave theory 50 to 88.2% retracements. Okay, this is another one we saw over here. We knew that we were likely to move on up. So we can see these and we can spot these quite easily on the smart money concepts charts. Now, they have, fortunately, 𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗪 has drawn in 2 here, and we can see that these are bullish fair value gaps that basically buy orders were put in here, couldn't fill them until the higher price range. So people wanted to pay 28.5. ended up paying 28,900. And so price likes to come back down and fill those out. Now we haven't filled this completely, and we haven't filled this one completely, and we still have to move on down. You can see that we've rested on equilibrium at the moment, and that's kind of where we've settled. But ultimately, we still end up with a strong high unlikely to get broken, and a weak low likely to get broken. We have a lot of selling pressure here with these red internal order blocks. That's where we are right now. So we know we're fighting up those higher ranges, and we've got these buy order blocks down here a little bit lower in the price action. Okay, so ultimately everything's looking pretty interesting at the moment, finding support on the 50 and 200 EMA right on the equilibrium. So we knew that was going to be a bouncing area. It's all looking pretty good from that point of view. Ultimately, we're still in a bearish structure. That hasn't changed. We're still bearish on this 1 hour chart, even though we have seen this brief rally to the upside. Like I said previously though, until we kind of break those highs, okay, which is unlikely to occur, ultimately we've got these high points coming in here. Okay, in fact, that one there as well as this one. We can see ourselves, you know, basically looking at that structure nesting in and taking us down deeper for now. It is bullish on a macro level, so we can't ignore that. Lower lows and lower highs do have a tendency to break upwards, but again, we're talking about an hourly chart here, and there's lots of potential to the downside before we get those relief rallies upwards. So all in all, smart money concepts pretty much is aligned to the thinking of Elliott Wave theory, that we shouldn't really be pushing up higher than those swing highs that we've been having, and we are looking to push on down into some of these low ranges. We do need to lose the support levels around equilibrium and the 250 EMAs, but for the most part, we can see here fair value gaps to get filled out, buy order blocks a lot lower down in the price chart, bearish structure, strong high, weak low. So ultimately, yeah, everything on Elliott Wave theory and smart money concepts coming together to kind of give us a pretty decent idea that actually downward price action is highly likely to occur here for BTC and Bitcoin. So ultimately, yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I don't think there's actually anything else I can really tell you about Bitcoin at this point, other than the fact that it's been a kind of sideways ranging market for quite some time. If we zoom out far enough, we can kind of see it's not really done overly terribly too much up here, but ultimately it still looks like we have this bearish structure in play, and that downward price pressure is where we are kind of targeting at the moment. If you found this useful, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. If you haven't joined us in Discord, check it out, linked in the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.